The storm rolls in. Raven Bay had a way of warning those who weren't welcome. Long before the thunder cracked or the clouds bled gray, the town shifted. Locals fell silent. Windows that had remained open through summer's warmth were drawn shut. A single gull wheeled above the harbor like an omen, its cry cutting through the air with uncanny sharpness. Even the boats seemed uneasy, groaning against their ropes as if they too sensed what was coming. Detective Elise Brandt pulled her coat tighter around her shoulders as the first drops of rain struck the windshield. She sat in her SUV parked near the edge of the harbor, the wipers lazily dragging across glass slick with salt and mist. The town hadn't changed much since she'd last visited 5 years ago. Same weathered buildings with their flaking paint, same creaking boardwalk that stretched out like a scar into the churning sea. But something was different this time. She could feel it in her gut. Raven Bay had always whispered its secrets, but now it felt like it was shouting them into the wind. She adjusted the radio dial, searching for something to ground her thoughts, but all she got was static. No surprise, storms played tricks with reception out here. Instead, she listened to the rain picking up speed, lashing the windows and roof with growing intensity. Somewhere beyond the fog and dark waves, a ship's horn groaned in warning. The kind of sound that made you feel small, inconsequential, and watched. Elise had been called back to Raven Bay on account of a body. That was all the message had said. No name, no details, just a request from the sheriff's office, signed by Deputy Marshal Jensen. The sheriff himself had retired last winter after a heart attack. Elise had attended the funeral and left before the reception. She hadn't expected to return again, especially not for something like this. She stepped out of the SUV, boots splashing in a shallow puddle already forming on the gravel shoulder. The wind had picked up since she arrived, cutting across the lot with icy precision. Pulling her collar high, she moved toward the pier where Jensen was waiting, his figure stiff and blurred in the sheets of rain. His badge gleamed dully beneath a plastic poncho, and his hand hovered near the pistol at his side. "Elise," he said with a nod, shouting over the roar of the wind. "Jensen. You look thrilled to see me." He cracked a faint smile, then nodded toward the end of the dock. "It's down there. Fishermen spotted it before sunrise. Thought it was a seal at first." She followed his gaze. Between the mist and the slanting rain, she could just make out the tarp. 2 officers stood nearby, their silhouettes hunched and motionless. As they approached, the air grew thick with the scent of salt, seaweed, and something darker, metallic and earthy. Jensen peeled back the tarp. Even after years in homicide, Elise had to swallow hard. The body was wedged between.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?